Today on the channel we're going to be drawing a cartoon beaver, so let's get started. If you do not know how to load in the reference photo, I've made a separate video so you can go and watch that and learn how to do that. Today our canvas is at 3000 by 3000 pixels and our grid lines are set at 260 pixels. So you'll be able to match your sketch here with the grid lines over here on this. Everything that you will need to follow along with this video will be in a free download over on Gumroad. Completely free, although I've set it up where you are able to donate $1 or $2 if you enjoy these tutorials I bring to you every week and you would like to support the channel. And let me say, it will be very much appreciated. So without further ado, let's get started. So I am going to be using the Chamel Inker Streamliner, which I'm also providing for you. You can use a monoline brush or whichever one you prefer. And we're going to be doing our outline in black. So let's start. Let me see what I want to do first. I think maybe the bottom of his body right there. So I'm going to come over 1, 2, 3. So I'm going to start about right here. Okay, and it's just going to be a loop. It's going to come down about to there. And then we're going to go back up to about right there. So we're just going to make a curve right here, and I'm going to hold my pen down more like that. Now I'm going to edit it. Yeah, I think that's much better. And let me see, it doesn't come all the way down to that line, so I'm going to bring it back up to where my little mark was. And I think that's good. We're going to leave it like that. Okay, and then we have an arm coming down. So we're going to start about here. It's going to go along that grid line and it's going to come up to about right here. Okay, I'm going to do a thin to thick. So about like that. And we're going to make this one a little bit thicker too. Okay, so that's his arm. We got his hand. One finger there. Let me see, we got another one right there. And then we got this one coming out about right there. That's good enough. Okay, and then we got the top portion of that arm right there. So we're going to just connect it like that. Okay, I like it. That's good. Let me do his foot now. Let me put in, let's see, we're going to come out of this square about there. And then we're going to have a thin to thick coming down to about right there. So I'm going to overlap it a bit. And just like that. Okay, and then right here, start about here. I'm going to come up right there. And then we're going to almost connect it right there, but we're going to stop right before it. So, about like that. And then out of this one, we're going to have it like his leg coming up. And we're going to put this third toe in over here. So, about like that. Okay, that's good. Let's do the other foot here. So we got him coming out right about here. Alright, and then we got it. And then coming up about there. So, just like that. That's good. And sometimes you don't want perfect circles. I mean, it just gives it more character when you have it like this. And I'm very happy the way that turned out. If I would have held my brush down, it probably wouldn't have been much better than that. Okay, and then the top one's going to start here. and it's going to come out to about there and then connect about right there. Do it more like that. Okay, and then we got our third toe here, about like that, and then the leg going up right there. Okay. Alright, let's do his tail. So we're going to be coming out of the leg, and we're going to be going up to about here, and then the top of it's going to be right there, and then we're going to meet up somewhere right here. So I think that's good. I'm going to make sure that this is connected well. The one thing about this brush that you got to keep in mind is when you start out, it's going to automatically be thinner. So you might sometimes have to double back and make it a little bit thicker when you connect it. So it's just because of the shape of the pin. I mean, the way the pin is set up. It's set up on a, if you push down really hard at first, you can do it, but it kind of leaves like a little ball or something that you might not want. Okay, so let's do this arm. We're going to start it about right here. We're going to come down and touch that tail, touch the bottom of his stomach right there, and then we're going to come up to about right there. So we're just going to do a curved line to connect these two dots. Yeah, that's better. Okay, and let's do his other hand. So we got think like that. This finger about like that, and then this top one here. Yep. And then we got his arm coming over right there. And we got a little bit right there. Okay. So maybe let's get this log in now. So the log is basically going to be running along that grid line right there. So I'm going to curve it just a little bit. But basically, yeah, it's just going to be running along that line. And then we're going to have the circle of the end of it here. It's going to be kind of like that. Okay, and then we're going to have a piece of that log coming off. Kind of like that. Okay, then let's put the top part in. Over to there, and then make sure that's connected right there. Over to there. Well, more straighten it out a little bit. There. Alright, and then we got all of these little detail things, which is not a really big deal, but you can just put in little lines to give it texture. It don't really matter. I'm just kind of following my sketch, but really it don't really matter. That's good enough. Okay, so let's get his pear-shaped head in here. I'm gonna start from that line up there, and from the arm we're going 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 squares. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, and I'm gonna start it about there. It's gonna come out, and it's almost going to touch that grid line, and then it's going to come back to about right there. So I'm just going to basically connect these lines. Just like that. Okay, let's do this other side. So basically, it's going to pass up through there. It's going to come out to about here. And then it's going to connect with that right there. So I'm going to pull it towards me. It seems to be better to control it that way. I'm going to hold my pen down and get a better curve. Yep, that's good. Okay, so there's his head. Let's maybe put this ear in right here. So we got it coming out. That's better. And then we got a lip on the end of it there. Yeah, I think that's good enough. I'm going to erase that eraser a little bigger. I think I already got it though. Okay, so that's one ear. Let's go ahead and put this other ear in, so it's going to be coming out right here. Yeah, I didn't match it perfectly with my sketch, but you know what? That's fine. You don't have to be perfect on your sketch. If it looks good to you, go with it. And that looks fine. Okay, so let's get these little hair loops in. So I'm just going to do one at a time. Maybe that's okay. Okay, and now what I'm going to do is make sure all of these are connected. That's going to be really important when we go into colored in. And make sure where they're connected, they're kind of the same width. And I'm going to clean up a lot of these overlaps. That right there. We'll fix this. That's good. And then we got some overlaps here. Alright, and this is a little kind of thin, so just to make sure, I want that to be connected so when we color it in, it's not going to have any problems. Okay, let's get these eyebrows. So I'm just going to do a thin to thick to thin. About there. And about there is good. Okay, let's do his eyes. So we're going to start here, go up near the eyebrow, come down about there, and then the bottom of it's going to be about like that. So I'm just going to follow along with this. I'm going to hold my pen down. Okay, so we're not gonna need all of this, and you can edit it if I think the bottom like is coming out a little bit more, I can move it. So I think, yeah, just like that. Okay, and this one's gonna overlap. So we're gonna come up about there, and then we're gonna come out here, and then the bottom of it's gonna be below that grid line. And then we're just going to go up there. Okay, let's try this out. I'm going to hold my pen down. Alright, and I'm going to kind of make it a little bit thinner. Maybe squeeze it in a little bit more. Yeah, I think that's good. Okay, then I can clean up all of these little marker lines that I had. There we go. Alright, let's do his little circle eyeballs. I'm gonna make a perfect circle. So the way you make a perfect circle, just hold your pen down and touch it with your other finger. Here we go. And maybe some little black pupils inside. Okay, that's good. Let's do his nose. His nose is going to be touching both of the eyes. So it's going to be kind of a football shape. It's going to connect those and it's going to come out. Oops. About there, and then we're just going to make a loop and connect those two. Okay, and then we're going to line. You know what? That's not good. So it comes all the way down to that grid line. So we were supposed to come down right there. So I'm going to redo that. Make sure I go all the way down this time. Here we go. And then we're going to have a line that's going to split it in half. 2 nose holes. That's good. Alright, so let's get his mouth in next. So we got a here and here. Alright, and then we're going to go up to about there. And then we're just going to, that curve is going to come down to about there. And on this side it's going to come to about there. Alright, so I'm just going to start in the middle of that little U shape there, and we're going to curve it down and then end up right there. Just like that. And then the same thing on this one. Just like that. Okay, that's good. Now his teeth. So, like that, and like that. It's good, and it looks like his mouth is continuing. Right there, and over on this side too. Yep. I think that's good. Alright, so let's start putting all these little detail things in. Look like I got a little line up on his ear right here, so I'm going to do that one and this one. Okay, so now, how about these whiskers here? So I'm going to do thin to thick. Okay, and then some over here. Yep. Alright, and then just like these little detail marks. And his tummy down here. You're gonna have to do, if you're using the monoline brush to do these, you're gonna have to do it slow, or it's gonna try to straighten it out. Okay. Looks like he's got one on his arm right there. A couple over here. Yeah, I think that's good. Okay, let's do these crosshatch things on his tail. So, I'm just kind of looking at it over there. Good enough. Alright, so let's get into the coloring process now. So you should have your line layer here and your background layer here. So what we're going to do is we're going to create a new layer. We're going to drag it under the line layer we did. And we're going to click on our line layer and we're going to set it to reference. So what that's going to do is when we drop the colors on layer 2, it's going to use the lines above it as a reference on where to put the colors. Okay, and I've given you a color palette called Beaver. So what we're going to do is this first brownish color, that's going to be basically the main body and everything. So we're just going to drag and drop it in there. His belly, his feet, very easy. Big swatches of colors, makes it really fun. Oops, I missed something there. We need to get in those ears, right in the top of them. There we go. And right there. Alright. Maybe... I think that's all for that color. Yeah. Okay, so let me see. Next color is going to be... Let's go ahead and do his tail. His tail is going to be this last brown color over here on the far right. So, okay, we gotta put these, I'm gonna hit continue. Oops, I missed it. Sometimes it goes away quicker. Hit continue filling and then we just gotta tap it. Fill in all those. Alright, next let's do the top of his nose. So the top of his nose is going to be this bottom brownish color here. So the second one from the left on the bottom. And that's going to be the top portion of his nose. Oh, it's still in color drop. I was wondering, it won't let me drag it. So, that don't look right. Let me look again. Yeah, I think it's right. Yep. So, same one. It just didn't look right for me. And then on the bottom portion of his nose is going to be a little bit darker brown. So maybe that one right there. Yeah. Alright, and then the nose holes are going to be black. So I've given you black too. And we got a lot of little white lines right here. And what causes that is I've got my color threshold too low. So if I drag and drop that in and slide my pencil to the right without picking it up, you can see it starts to fill in those little white marks. So I might do this bottom portion of the nose again. There we go. And then the top portion of the nose too. Yeah, so then you can see it fills them all in. And then we got right there between the eyes, he's got this same color here. Alright. Okay, for the log, we're gonna have... let me see, what color did I use for the log? I think I'm gonna have this very light brown, maybe the same one we used for the top part of his nose. Okay, and then maybe the end and that little part right there, we'll use this darker one for the bottom of his nose. So that one, and then this right there. Okay? That's good. Okay, the inside of his ears. So let's do the black again first. And these little bitty pieces that I put in on the corners of his ear is going to be black. Okay, and then the inside of his ear is going to be this gray color. Second one on top. Gray and gray. Okay, the sides of his mouth is also going to be black. Right there. Oops. Missed the... There we go. Alright, and the inside of his eyes are going to be blue. So right there. Okay, looks good. And we can get the white in the eyes and the teeth. So what you might have to do is turn off your background color. Choose white. And now when you drop it in, you can see it. If you leave that background to white, it'd be really hard to tell whether you got it or not. And now we can turn it back on. So we know that our eyes and teeth are colored in. So that's it. All the coloring is done. So we're going to start putting in some highlight and shadow details. So create a new layer on top of your colors, click on it and set it to clipping mask. What that's going to do is it's going to allow us to color only where there's already color at already. So if we tried to go outside here, it wouldn't do anything. And we're going to take this very light, so we did our base color here, and then the next one under is going to be the very light one. And we're going to start putting in some highlight details. So let's start on his feet down here. I like to start on the bottom and work my way up. And we're just going to do some little circles and ovals. Okay, that's good. We'll do one here and here. Okay, let's do a big one right here. Hold my pen down. Okay, and what you can do is if you turn off your reference layer, and now we can drag and drop in that. If we kept our reference layer, it wouldn't do it. Okay, let's do one on that finger, maybe top of that one, and the top of the arm. That's good. And the same thing over here. Here, and there. Alright, let's do one there. One on his cheeks. Let's do another one right here. And then we'll do some under his eyebrows. Okay, I think that's it. Alright, so what we're going to do now is let's do the highlight on his tail. So that's just going to be a very lighter color of his brown. So I'm going to choose, the tail was that darker one there. Or was it, wait a minute. Let me go back. Let me make sure I've got the right one. So it's supposed to be the base color here, the top one. I think that's right. Yeah, that's right. Okay. So what we're going to do is pick this lighter one. And go back to my highlights. And we're just going to do a circle. Right there. Top of the tail. Okay, I think all the highlights are done. Let's go ahead and do the shadows now. And I'm just going to start a new layer. I'm going to combine those highlights. And this is going to be our shadow layer. We're going to set it to clipping mask also. Now we're going to do the darker colors. So on the tail, that really darker one. And that's going to be along the bottom. Just like that. Okay, and that's it for that one. For his body, so we had the base color, the lighter one, and this is going to be the shadow. Okay, and we're going to do the bottoms of his feet. And over here too. Yep. Okay, along his tummy. We're going to start from there. We're going to go all the way over to there. I'm going to hold it down to make a good circle. And then what I'm going to do is I'm going to close this shape off so I'll be able to drag and drop it in. So, it's going along. So now it's all closed in. So we'll be able to drag and drop that in now. Okay, I think that is it. So the last thing I want to do is put in some shiny things in his eyes. So what we're going to do is we're going to create a new layer. And we're going to put that on top of everything. We're going to change it to white. I like to use the airbrush. I didn't give you that, but it's part of Procreate's brushes, and I like to pick the soft one. And then set my brush to about maybe 3%. Let's see how big that will be. And put it right Nah, it's a little big. I'm going to take it down to about 2%. And just tap it a couple times. Just like that. And I'm going to change the background color to make him stand out. So, maybe a green. Okay, get rid of this reference photo and drawing guide. And there you have it, guys. You have your little beaver. If you wanted to, what you could do is choose a black. You could make a layer under everything. And then we could just do a kind of an oval down here. Close it off. Fill it in. Go to your little adjustment tool here. Hit Gaussian blur. Slide it to the left until you get a little shadow. And there is your finished product. So I hope you guys enjoyed this tutorial. If you have not subscribed, please do so. Hit the little bell icon, share it with your artist friends, and with that, I will see you guys on the next video. Take care.